What's up, people of the internet? My name is Hanro, and I'm sitting here again with my buddy Travis Thug Life Williams,
What's up?
and we are talking Ant-Man.
Woot woot.
All about it, what we liked, what we didn't like,
Getting up all in that.
and overall why we think it didn't suck. So, we can start with the bad.
Okay, let's start it off here. Lame ass villains. Marvel
Yeah.
seems to have a problem with this, and this movie is no exception to that rule. They had another lame villain, Darren Cross, aka Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, I didn't like his backs. I don't know. He was just, there was nothing scary about him. He was just kind of a dickhead that,
And that was a little crazy.
yeah, he was just kind of a dickhead that wanted to sell secrets to Hydra. It's like, what's wrong with you, dude?
Also, spoilers. Sorry, guys.
Nah, yeah,
Putting that out there.
all the videos are spoilers, dude.
Just
We're
making
good.
sure.
We're good.
But yeah, like Marvel does have this problem. Like I said, that the only good villain they've actually put out is Loki.
Yeah, Loki is a great villain.
He is the only memorable villain. Like
Because he's likable,
he's a
and he's nuts in his own.
Yeah.
He's nuts in his own right, but he also thinks he's doing
the right.
He thinks
thing.
he's doing the right thing, whereas like Darren Cross was literally like he knows Hydra's bad and wants to sell information to Hydra anyway.
This guy has very big daddy issues.
Yeah,
he is
seriously. He's
he's-
obsessed with Hank Pym in a very very weird way.
Well, he feels like Hank was his mentor,
Yeah.
and Hank didn't tell him about his Pym particles, the stuff that allows Hank.
For good reason.
Yeah, because it allows Hank to shrink down to the size of an ant, have extra powerful strength.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way he goes about trying to figure out the formula for the Pym particles, it does make him seem like just a dick.
Yeah,
Like the way he kills that
there
guy.
was no. I mean, there was no real depth to his character.
It's like I'm evil for the sake of being evil. Like I
Yeah.
felt like Obadiah Stane from Iron Man 1 had a better character than this guy. And it's just saying things. Heck, I'd rather watch the weirdo from Iron Man 2. Can't remember whatever Jackie, what the heck is his name? I don't care.
Yeah.
Whiplash.
Yep. Okay. We can move on. So there's a couple other characters that I didn't really like. I didn't understand the need for the like Michael Pena's little sidekicks, because Michael Pena was already a sidekick,
sidekick.
and then all of a sudden he brings these other two guys over to his apartment. The guy with like the terribly fake Russian accent,
The Dark Knight movies.
and then T.I., who were just kind of there as filler, I guess. They didn't really have any point. Like the only important thing that either of those characters did was the Russian guy like turned off the laser grid,
Right.
and so he was like the hacker.
And
then
T.I.
T.I.
distracted the cops.
Yeah, T.I. stole the cop car for no reason. But I mean, Michael Douglas could have gotten into that building without. Doesn't matter. Whatever. So I just didn't. I'm tired of seeing people doing terrible Russian accents in movies. It's like, just hire a freaking Russian actor. How, like, they can't be that hard to come by. Russia's a pretty big country. You can hire a Russian actor.
But that's if they if Putin lets him out of the cage. Whatever.
I guess there's some restrictions there, but
In
just
Soviet
hire,
Russia.
yeah, just hire someone.
That's what it sounds like.
In Soviet Russia, dick sucks you. Just hire someone that's actually Russian to do a Russian accent.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah. Another problem that I really had was that there's two specific scenes where Scott Lang is able to put on his Ant-Man suit in the prison cell in like under 10 seconds when the ants are doing the countdown clock. I thought that was kind of ridiculous. And then on the opposite end of that, when they're in the helicopter,
Right.
and Ant-Man gets like thrown out the side, he's like hanging on by a belt buckle. Freaking Cross is able to put on the Yellow Jacket suit in less than 10 seconds there.
Right.
Also, it's like, and then on top of that, he's not only able to put the suit on that fast, but he knows how to use it and is like proficient in using it like immediately after.
Yeah, well, that's because he's crazy.
Oh, sure.
Look at Obadiah Stane putting on the Ironmonger suit. He knows how to use it
Yeah, I
perfectly.
guess, yeah.
One time.
That's
One
good.
freaking
Yeah.
time. This is a problem that happens a lot in the Marvel universe, I feel like.
Yeah, the bad guys just all of a sudden have It's like
or
bad guy ex machina, where they just know how to do everything.
Or
right.
Rhodey knows how to fly the Iron Man suit after working for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So
sorry guys, I'm a big Marvel nerd, and I will throw this stuff in here because this is a Marvel movie.
Yeah. So I didn't like. It's like there's no way because they show him putting it on before then, and it takes much longer than 10 seconds to put that suit on. You can't.
That's the thing. It's
because everything is like skin tight on those guys. You can't. You can't put on a skin tight anything in less than 10 seconds. But that's just kind of a little small thing that kind of bothered me.
Would you rather have close-ups of his butt like in Batman? Batman.
Oh yeah, I want to see him pulling it up and like just getting that. I want to see the bulge like when he pulls it up.
Bulge. Ooh, it's tiny but big.
Oh, God. And there was some overall other like weird time things that didn't really make sense.
Well, my thing is, it's all about editing. I feel like they edited it down to where it made no sense.
If the original director
Edgar Wright,
if Edgar Wright had directed it, and where it's got like those fast-paced cuts like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, where they talk about stuff and it all like because that's his style, so that makes sense. But for this movie, since it wasn't shot that way, like where Lang goes back to put the Ant-Man suit back in Michael Douglas's house or Hank Pym's house, and he's in there for probably realistically, a couple of minutes, and he literally runs, hops the fence, is inside the house. You see him put the suit down, hops back over the fence, and there's like 15 patrol cars outside with cops holding him at gunpoint. It's like even if Evangeline Lilly or Hope
Van Dyne.
Yeah, even if Hope had called the cops, like police response time isn't that fast, and they're not going to send
15 cars.
They're not going to send like 10, 15 police cars for a burglary.
Well, like that's the thing about this script.
It would have made more sense as an Edgar Wright. Like that moment would have been funnier as an Edgar Wright because he had he wrote the screenplay originally, and then it had several rewrites after that. So I feel like that was probably one of his like
it got lost
punchy things, where it's like boom, boom, like quick shots, and then all of a sudden there's cops outside.
That's one of my problems with this movie. Is like overall I enjoyed the movie a lot. But I love a lot of the Marvel movies except for Iron Man 2 and 3.
I like the movie. Yeah.
But my problem is I felt like this movie had too many hands in the cookie jar with the script. Like I feel like it was rewritten 7 times. Like
I mean, a lot of studio movies end up with that. Kind of suffer from that.
I usually don't notice that as much as I did with this movie because I'm a fan of Edgar Wright's films, and I could tell what scenes I felt like he wrote and other scenes that Adam McKay wrote, which I'm also a fan of his films.
I would have definitely liked to see the actual, Edgar Wright shot version.
Yeah,
I think that would have been really fun because I really enjoy that guy's films.
Oh, me too.
And then there was some other weird kind of time things where. Because they were setting up this big heist to get the Yellow Jacket suit, and they said they had like a very limited amount of time that they could set this up because Darren Cross was like accelerating his experiments in order to find out about how to use the Pym particle to actually shrink a human subject. And they said they had this very short time, and then they do this montage this training montage with Ant-Man where he kind of jumps back and forth, and it's kind of blurry as to how much time is actually taking place.
Where he's training with the ants, he's training how to shrink to go through a doorknob, he's learning how to fight all in a matter of 2 days.
Yeah, he's doing all this stuff, and it's kind of weird. The time compression is kind of off. It just seemed kind of off to me.
Yeah, I feel like it's. But that's my feeling is that's all editing, and I feel like they could have done a better job at that. So let's go to the next thing. We also had a problem with the Scott. Okay, so part of the movie is they're in the vault door's shut, and then Hank gets shot.
You're talking about when they actually get in there, and he's got eyes on the Yellow Jacket suit. Cross knows he's there, so it's kind of like it's kind of a double cross.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, Hank Pym ends up getting shot. The vault doors have been closed this whole time. They enter Cross brings Hope and Pym into the room with like the Hydra guys that everyone kind of knows is Hydra. So they come into the vault. The doors close behind them. They're all standing there. Hell breaks loose. Scott Lang ends up breaking out of the containment unit. He's kicking everyone's ass. Hank gets shot. And instead of stopping, and then all of a sudden the vault doors are open, and the main Hydra guy and Darren Cross are both just allowed to run out, and Scott Lang doesn't do anything to like chase him down or stop him. It's like I understand Hank Pym was shot, but his daughter's there, and everyone else in the room is neutralized, and his daughter can fend for herself if anything goes wrong. So chase those guys down and stop them from escaping with what you came here for.
Yeah, because you had and I understand that he can't get both of them at the same time.
He was kicking like 5 dudes' asses like within a matter of seconds. He could have easily neutralized them both.
Well, but if they're going 2 different directions, but we don't know what the heck happened, but it makes more sense for them to let the guy with the Pym particles go into the Marvel universe.
It gives you, it gives you something to build on later.
It's the same thing that they did with the Extremis stuff, all this other things that have happened in the Marvel universe so far.
It was just kind of a weird thing where the vault's sealed the whole time, and then all of a sudden the doors are open, and the 2 most important characters are allowed to escape. I just didn't like it. And then I don't know, the whole thing about the movie kind of being like a heist film. It took away because.
Well, because we're in a world full of heroes.
Well, because Scott Lang, I can understand Scott Lang, and that's kind of his character.
Right.
But overall, I don't understand. Honestly, I just don't understand why they didn't do Ant-Man as Hank Pym sooner, like in Phase 1. Well, because he's one of the original
He's an original Avenger. He's there before Captain America is.
Yeah. So
and I know the original script of the Avengers, Wasp was supposed to be there, and they pushed her back because they wanted to do an Ant-Man movie with Wasp. But that's what's frustrating about it is he should have been there. The Battle for New York, we should have had Ant-Man or at least Giant Man or something. Hank Pym needed to be there.
That was the other thing. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't do Giant Man stuff at all. They didn't even show Hank Pym as Giant Man.
Well, yeah,
and we all know that
he's able to become Giant Man.
Yeah, he's Giant Man and Ant-Man.
But I feel like if he had became Ant-Man before that point, like I feel like him and Scott are going to end up tooling around with the Regulator to make Giant Man or something like that. Because if we would have seen him. Like there would have been a story like there is about the Incredible Hulk being there.
Yeah,
there's 1960s. There's a giant person. We have a movie called The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. We have the Attack of the 50-Foot Man. It should have been there, but
you're getting real worked up right now.
Well, yeah, because I'm one of those people. I'm a big fan of Hank Pym. I love the cartoon Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and I love the way they portrayed Hank Pym in that cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted for the Marvel MCU, and I get it. It takes from both the Ultimate Universe and the regular Marvel Universe, and that's the thing is that they needed to have him earlier than they had him later.
It would have been so much better to have Hank Pym's Ant-Man in the MCU in some point in Phase 1. To only introduce him at the end of Phase 2 seems really odd, but I guess it's kind of like a weird rights thing with studios and. Like, how the X-Men still belongs to Fox and Fantastic Four.
Oh, God.
It's like, you just figure it out and make good movies.
Well,
like,
that's all I want. That's all I want. Like,
stop battling over rights and money. Just, like, make a deal like Sony did with the Spider-Man thing now where they still get the money and Marvel gets to make the movie. Like, just figure it out and make good movies. That's all we want. All right, let's change gears. Let's talk about the things we really liked about this movie.
So,
casting. The casting I think was really on point with this movie. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man was a great choice. I think it would have been even better if Edgar Wright had gotten to direct it.
I feel like that would.
But I mean, we talked about that a little bit already. But Paul Rudd being directed by Edgar Wright, I think would have been like really, really good.
Well, my problem is that Adam McKay helped write some of this movie, so I felt like you said before, it was Paul Rudd playing Paul Rudd.
Yeah, it was just kind of Paul Rudd as Paul Rudd,
which I'm fine with.
Which is fine, and it was just
it worked.
He was just kind of doing the same type of Paul Ruddy type stuff, where he's dropping quips and being kind of like a snarky guy, which is fine. Like that's what he's good at.
It works for the character too.
It's good. Yeah, it works. Michael Douglas as Hank Pym.
I loved really that. Good. That was one of my favorite castings in the entire movie.
He was a really good straight character.
He had a couple good lines too, like when he's teaching him how to use the Ant-Man suit. I loved where he told him he was full of shit when he was kissing his daughter. That was funny as hell.
Oh, yeah, right at
Scott, you're full of shit.
Yeah, I mean Michael Douglas is always good, so you can put him in pretty much any movie and any character. And he was a good choice as like an older mentor Hank Pym character. So I'm glad that since they decided to go the Scott Lang route, that they got like a really good actor to be a mentory Hank Pym. And I think Evangeline Lilly as his daughter was a
Oh.
good fit too. Like, you know,
Well-
she's really believable as like this badass chick.
Hell yeah.
Who, spoiler, will become Wasp.
Which I'm looking so forward to.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be cool to finally have the Wasp character.
Yeah.
We kind of got to see her mom as Wasp. We never saw her face, but it was cool to see that character working with Ant-Man. That's what I wanted to see in the Avengers, and it was just so neat to see that. And the hope, the hope of getting to finally see this character come to life, is so awesome.
Yeah. And then
Oh my God.
the hilarious addition of
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena
Oh my god.
as Luis. Was
Yeah,
it?
Luis.
Where they're doing where he
Telling-
starts telling the story. He's like, "Oh man, oh you know my cousin who Jesus he talked to a girl.
This girl
he
did-
yeah.
who cleans for this
And
guy's
she-
house,
And she talked
has
to
his
this
vault."
guy and her from this guy, and then as he's telling all the stories, it cuts to those characters and they're lip syncing
Mm-hmm. Oh my
whatever
God.
he's saying
It's
in
so
like
funny.
in like his Vato voice.
Well, that's the beauty of Michael Pena. The guy can do
The guy's
comedy.
a great actor.
drama.
Yeah, he does. He
Oh my
plays
God.
serious roles really well. He was hilarious in this film. Like every scene he was in, he was just like kicking it up a notch of like how ridiculous
That's
he
why
could
that's
be.
why I like him. Like in a subpar movie, like 30 minutes or less. But he's the most memorable thing about that movie is him as this hitman guy, who's once he do like
Oh,
going
so
after the guy.
he's one of the guys with the like.
No, he's the guy that they hire to kill his dad. Those two guys' dad.
30 minutes.
Oh God, you
that,
got to rewatch
that
it.
movie's kind of like a blur.
Well, that's the only thing I remember from it is him and
Because
he's
Aziz Ansari and Aziz Ansari's.
and Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, okay. That's I was thinking him, but I couldn't think of his name.
But yeah,
The new Lex Luthor.
the red capes are coming, but that's besides the point. But Michael Pena was just so funny, like the
Yeah.
Baskin Robbins line. Like there's a whole line where Baskin Robbins always finds out, and
Not delivered by Michael Pena. First delivered by whoever played the manager. At
oh
Baskin
yeah,
Robbins.
because Scott gets fired from Baskin Robbins because they find out who he actually
They
is.
know. They've seen the movie, bro.
I'm just saying. And when then he goes home and he's like, "Yeah, did you get fired?" I told you Baskin Robbins always knows. And I'm just like, "Oh,
They always find out, man. Baskin Robbins always finds out, dude.
he's so funny." Like, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. He's so funny in the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Also, something pretty cool about the movie, which I was kind of worried about, was the shrinking. The way they did it, just the CGI and stuff like that, it looks so cool. Like,
Whenever he's interacting with the ants, it looked really. It actually looked photorealistic. Like,
Yeah.
it was really good. It was surprisingly good CGI. Because
Well-
there's a lot of bad CGI out there, and this could have gone like
Transformers. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't even thinking that. I'm talking about like remember in
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids,
No,
or-
no, not Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Freaking that terrible Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull when those fire ants
Boo.
eat that Russian guy. It looks so freaking
That
terrible.
whole movie was terrible.
Well, yeah, the whole movie's terrible, but like the CGI ants in that one sequence where oh god, it looks so bad. And this
Ugh.
movie, yes, this movie was made several years later, but the CGI looked photoreal. It looked really convincing. You believe that he's a microscopic human running through tunnels with ants,
Or, like,
and
he's-
like when the ants are floating through that water pipe,
Right.
where they make like the
raft.
ant raft. That's badass. And then they're just sending like it all looked really
Well,
good.
like the fact that he's
Like you believed what you were seeing.
well, you believed he was beating the shit out of these guys. He was taking down these guards when they were trying to shoot at him. Like it
Yeah.
was so cool. Like you kind of saw this little blip, and all of a sudden the way they hit him, and like
yeah,
so nice.
The action, the fighting sequences, and the ant sequences, like and the everything with him shrunk down looked really good, and it looked really photorealistic, even though 99% of it was probably all CGI. It looked great.
So another scene that I really enjoyed because I love this universe. He wasn't a big fan of it, but I was.
It was okay.
It was okay. Is
like the fight was cool.
Yeah, but the Falcon fight scene.
Yeah.
I thought it was great to use the cheapest Avenger that they could get, which I totally agree with because they're not going to.
They're writing the script. They're like, can we bring Captain America for? a
No,
fight
we're not
scene?
going to blow our load on that.
Ooh, can we bring Iron?
No!
How about bringing Robert Downey Jr.
No,
back?
we're not blowing our load on that.
I did think they could have brought the Hulk though.
Yeah, the Hulk would have been fine.
But my girlfriend pointed out that they couldn't have brought the Hulk because the whole reason the Falcon scene worked so well is because Falcon had those goggles, so where he has the eagle Falcon eyes, so he can actually see Ant-Man.
Even Paul Bettany would have been cool, but it's just too much CGI. I feel like. But I love that the Falcon was there because it made
Falcon was a good choice.
it made for a funny fight scene because like.
And it worked where he had to shrink down to get inside his suit and bust it all up.
I totally called that was going to happen when I was watching the movie because it's like, oh, we're going up north to this facility that Stark used to have. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Whoa, bro.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry.
I thought you liked this scene.
I did. But I did that.
Are you...
Well, I did it as excitement because I was kind of hoping we get to see Captain America or something. But we got Falcon.
We do get to see Captain America.
Yeah.
After the credits.
Yeah, we'll go to that later.
After the credits.
But like after he fought Falcon, he's telling Hank Pym, he's like, "Guys, I fought an Avenger and I didn't die." Like that's so funny.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. It was a fun scene.
It
was a nice touch.
It was a nice way for them to put it in.
And Hank was all I like that Hank was freaking out about it. He's like, "Abort! Get out of there!" And Scott was like,
"It's an Avenger."
Nah, I got this.
like where he's telling him, Ant-Man.
Nah, I got this.
Iron Man was already taken. Like stuff like that. I thought it was funny. Because Ant-Man is such a weak name.
On the nose, it was a little.
But I like the fact that
it was fine. The scene was fine.
I thought it was a good way to tie it into the Marvel MCU, like what has happened so far, because this does take place after Age of Ultron and the new Avengers, the new group of the Avengers.
Yeah, they dropped the
like, oh hey, Lisa, because Scott Lang gets all freaked out and he's like, can't we just call the Avengers? He's like, and Hank goes, no, they're too busy dropping
cities.
They're
probably too busy dropping cities.
which is also a pretty cool thing about this movie is that Hank Pym. I love that Hank Pym doesn't trust the Avengers.
Yeah,
he doesn't trust Shield, and most of all, he does not trust a Stark. And that I thought that was funny. Like that was it made for a reason.
It works because it keeps. Like you said, it keeps the Avengers out of it, so that's like it's a good ploy to keep the Avengers out of it. But it's also nice because you kind of see like almost the darker side of Hank Pym, where he's a brilliant scientist,
but he's a loner.
But he's also afraid of what he's created, and he doesn't trust anybody. Like he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't trust Stark because Starks make weapons. He doesn't trust Shield because Shield makes weapons,
and it's also Hydra.
Yeah, and it turns out that Shield is Hydra. So you get this sense that that's going to build into the later films where Hank Pym's going to, and then that's going to go into like Civil War and all that type of stuff where he's going to have a problem with the Avengers.
Did you catch the line where Hank's like, I'm not going to give my tech to to Stark. He's talking about Tony, and he said that Tony's tech was cute. Like I thought that was funny
like
because
the Iron Man suits.
Yeah, he's saying they're cute. Like I think he's saying like, hey, I can kick this guy's ass. Even if back in my prime, I can kick his ass. Even with his
probably could because he can shrink and get inside.
Right, but I just want to see that because
kind of like the same thing he did with Falcon. He could probably shrink down, get inside Tony's Iron Man suit, and fuck it up from the inside.
That'd be cool though. See, like that's what that was a great.
That's why Ant-Man is one of the coolest Avengers and why he should have been. Is part of Phase 1.
So you know what I'm going to be excited about?
Yeah, he's kind of a weird character, but he's like one of the coolest characters.
Well, see, like I love him teaming up with people, like him with like Hawkeye. Like I swear to God, in Civil War, if we don't get a scene with him on a tip of Hawkeye's arrow and Hawkeye shoots him at somebody, that will be sick.
Oh, that would be cool.
Like badass. Stuff like that. Like I always love when superheroes do like the like with go to X-Men real quick, where not Cyclops. What's his name? Colossus picks up Wolverine, does the fastball special where he grabs Wolverine and freaking tosses his ass at something.
And Wolverine just goes flying.
Yep. And I love stuff like that. And that's Hawkeye and Ant-Man is one of my favorite things that has ever happened in comics.
I really hope they bring Giant Man. I want to see some Giant Man.
I feel like if they're doing Civil War, they need Giant Man because it'll be Iron Man.
Because Giant Man can just punch and smash people on the ground. Like it's weird though because Giant Man isn't extra strong, right?
Well, he is strong for his size, but because he's a giant.
Yeah, but he doesn't have like extra strength.
No, because
he's actually stronger. He's actually stronger as proportionally as Ant-Man.
I think so, but he can still pick up a frickin' freighter and use it as a weapon like he's in freaking Pacific Rim.
Sure, yeah.
Which is cool because it makes like a good fight scene.
I just want to see some Giant.
I want to see Giant Man fight the Hulk because I want to see the Hulk choke him out. Jump on his throat, choke him out.
And I want to see Evangeline Lilly as the Wasp, which they teased in the mid-credits.
So this movie,
mid-credit scene.
The movie had two post-credit scenes. They had a mid-credit,
the mid-credit one,
and then a tagging
where they show the Wasp outfit and Michael Douglas.
Which
like I made this for your mom back in the day,
We were-
but she never got a chance to wear it.
We never finished it.
Yeah.
It was just so cool to see that moment because the entire movie, Evangeline Lilly, is showing that she's this badass chick.
And she's begging to be in the
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man suit the whole time. She's like, put me in the suit. Scott Lang's an idiot. Put me in the suit. Put me in the suit.
And that was one of my favorite lines in the entire movie.
I can do this. I know the facility inside and out. Let me do
Well, there's a reason he doesn't want to do it, and Scott is the one that points it out to her. Like she's
this.
angry at her dad. And I
yeah.
love that line
No,
where
it
he's
made,
like,
it made total sense. He's like, where he says, I'm
expendable.
Oh,
I'm expendable.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not to him.
Yeah.
And I love that's what
And
forces
it
her to.
kind of took that for her to realize. She's like, oh wow, my
My
dad
dad-
just doesn't want me to do it because he cares about me.
What happened to my mother? He doesn't want to.
So cute.
So then the second scene was a tease for Captain America, not Winter Soldier, Civil War.
Which I thought was kind of weird because they already, at the end of the film, Falcon is already, Scott Lang already finds out that Falcon is looking for him.
Through Luis.
So
In a very funny
why
scene.
it just kind of seemed like a weird, like they could have done something better.
What I originally heard was supposed to happen was it was supposed to be like a joking post-credit scene. It was supposed to be like something funny, like at the end of Thor 2, where that beast dog monster is running through London. It was supposed to be something funny like that, or the shawarma scene. But they were watching the dailies for Civil War, and Kevin Feige's like, that would be a great post-credit scene right there. Because it sets.
Oh, that was supposed to be a shot from Civil War.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
And they put it in there because it mentions that, hey, we're gonna go after Ant-Man's gonna be helping out Cap.
Well, and that was obvious, but that I didn't think it was necessary. It's like, did Kevin Feige watch the movie? Because they already put that in there where they're looking for Ant-Man at the end, and Scott Lang knows about it. So it's like, well, obviously he's going to be part of the Avengers.
And one more thing I forgot to mention before: this movie, at the end of that movie, works. The Luis dubbed version of the conversation between the reporter and Falcon, that she mentions that there's a guy crawling on walls, swinging webs.
Oh yeah, I did like the slight homage to
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I think it would have been better
If we got to
the
see him?
final credits, if the after credits scene would have been like a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
There
Like,
would have been a cool. I'm sure they could have tied it in somehow. That would have been nice.
Well, they
to
had
see.
just-
It would have been nice to at least get like a silhouette of Spider-Man or
Something.
or see Peter Parker. The reporter could have been Peter Parker.
or like they had like a picture of a guy hanging upside down in webbing, or
Yeah,
something
they
like
could
that.
have. They could have done something that was like
Like her showing her pictures of proof of there's a guy out there doing this.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see a Spider-Man thing at the end.
But it's
we'll
it's
get
coming.
him. Yeah, we'll get him in Civil War. So.
I want to see the suit, but that's big. But yeah,
overall,
I love this
Overall,
movie.
Ant-Man was decent. I didn't.
It was, to me, it was one of towards the better side of the Marvel universe, because we do get. I feel like the Marvel universe has its good and its bad, like every other thing.
Yeah,
It
I
has.
thought this one was just kind of.
It was
Middle of the
middle
road
of the
for
road,
me.
but I liked it a lot for being a standalone movie because
I
it's
didn't.
kind of fun.
I didn't really feel like the stakes in this movie. Like, yeah, if Hydra gets hold of the Pym particles, it's a big deal. But I didn't think they really hit the stakes the stakes didn't really seem that high, and they kind of just let the Hydra guy escape with the Pym particles anyway.
Well, yeah,
So
but
it's like, well, that's you want to destroy the Yellow Jacket suit and make sure the Pym particles are safe, and
or take those cross particles.
you let the Pym particles into Hydra's hands anyway at the end. It's
So
like, what?
yeah, that's bad because Hydra has been known
Hydra's
to.
terrible.
If you guys are
Hydra's
fans,
crazy.
well, if you're fans of Agents of Shield, they have the Extremis serum. They have all the stuff that's like created other criminals or villains or stuff like that in the Marvel universe.
We gotta nip this, bro.
Sorry. This is a very.
Flying off topic.
I love this universe.
Flying off topic. You're flying
Comic
off
books
the
are my
rails.
thing. Sorry,
You're
guys.
flying off the rails.
Sorry, guys.
So Ant-Man, I'd give it one thumb up and one thumb to the side because,
I give it 2 because I loved the movie.
yeah.
I had fun.
like I said, one thumb up, one thumb to the side. It was better than.
It's better than most of the summer movies we gotten this year. I feel like because
It's debatable.
like
Some pretty decent movies.
See,
came
Age
out.
of Ultron.
We're cutting this. We're
just,
done.
Just one
We're
thing.
done talking
Just
about it.
one thing.
Ant-Man was okay.
Okay, one more
Ant-Man
thing.
doesn't suck. Game over.
Okay.
Nope. It's over. Say your thing. Nope. Do that.